Hey, good evening, council members, and good evening, Altadenans and community. We'd like to welcome you to the Altadena Town Council meeting for May 21st, 2019. It is hereby called to order. The time now is, looks like it's, 7:03 p.m. For the Pledge of Allegiance tonight, agenda item number 1.1, I would like to have Councilmember Jones to introduce the people that will be leading the town council in tonight's Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Good evening and happy Memorial Weekend. Tonight we have the Altadena Pathfinders and Adventure Club returning here again to lead us in the flag salute. The Altadena Pathfinder and Adventure Clubs are part of the worldwide organization sponsored by the Seventh-day Adventist Church. With over 2 million young people in grades 1 through 12 that are members, the club is open to all youth in those grades who are willing to live by the club's pledge and law. All Pathfinders are Christians. All the leaders are Christians. The Pathfinder Club Director is Dwight A. Saki, I think I'm saying it right. The Adventure Club Director is Ruth Ecke. The Pathfinders will be accompanied by our local Crown City Drum Squad. The leaders of the drum squad are C.J. Williams and Adriana Collins.
Would the audience please stand for the posting of the colors? Color guard, post. Color guard, right face. Color guard dismiss. With the Pledge of Allegiance, ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause to the Seventh-day Adventist Pathfinders. One more round of applause. Okay. Councilmember Jones, are you ready for the roll call?
Okay, roll call. Okay. Good evening again. Antonio Becerra. Here. Okorie Ezieme.
Present.
Victoria Knapp. Present. Jennifer Lee. Here. Billy Malone. Present. Diane Markison. Here. Jeff Simmons. Excused. Justin Robinson. Here. Gloria Sanika. Present. Patricia Sutherlen. Here. Dr. Thomas. Present. Aaron Cheetah.
Present.
Dr. Reginald Wilkins.
Present.
Dorothy Wong. Here. Sylvia Vega. We have a quorum with 15.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Jones. Item number 1.3, that is to approve May 21st, 2019 meeting agenda, and that will be Councilmember Sutherlen.
The Executive Committee met on May the 14th and approved the agenda. Copies are located on the piano next to the door. Since then, there's been, as far as I know, one correction. Item number 8.2 is not going to happen. It's canceled, and it'll be appearing at a future date. Are there any other additions or corrections? Justin?
We had a report under number 9.
4611?
Yeah, that's the one.
Any others? In that case, I move to accept the agenda as amended.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion to accept the agenda as amended. That is striking out item number 8.2 and then add in census tract report, which will be 9.1, item number 9.1 for the census tract 4611. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposing? Anyone abstaining? Okay, that is the agenda for tonight, and that is how the council is going to conduct its business for tonight. Item number 2, and that will be myself. What I have is really simple because we have a very heavy agenda for tonight, so I want to first of all wish happy Memorial Day to all the veterans, and I want to thank the Town Council for your continued support. I'd like to thank the community for coming out at each and every meeting to support and hear what is going on in your community. I know that this report will probably be given at a later time, and that's a CHP fundraiser, which is TPECOP. So I believe they'll probably say more about that. I always say that leaders have no more power than people give them. Power is with the people and lies with the people. We will be voting for your next set of town council members on June 4th, as well as June 8th. The election committee chair will be giving additional information on that. So I'd like to encourage all Altadenans to get out there and support. Be aware who is going to be representing you, and I encourage you to come out and vote. Okay, so that will conclude my report. I want to make it very, very short tonight. So let's move on to the Vice Chairman's report, item number 2.2, and that'll be Councilmember Sutherlen.
My report will also be very brief. As indicated on the agenda at tonight's meeting, the public comment will be heard number 7 on the agenda after the community reports. Comment cards are located on the piano. If you'd like to make a comment at tonight's meeting, please fill out one of the cards and hand it in to one of the council members at either end of the table, and we will call on you at that time. When you're called, please come up to the podium and make your comments. The council does not respond to public comment at this time, but if you do want to receive information from your council member, please make sure that the card has got your contact information on there, and you'll be contacted by your council member. And that's it for tonight.
Okay, thank you so much, Councilmember Sutherlen. 2.3, Recording Secretary's Report. Councilmember Jones.
Good evening again. The minutes of April 16, 2019 were emailed to all council members with a request for any additions or corrections. I did receive corrections and additions, and they were incorporated into the minutes. So the minutes are in final form, and I'd like to make a motion that they be approved in final form and placed on the town council's website.
Okay, a motion to approve the minutes from April 16th meeting has been moved and properly seconded. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposing? Anyone abstaining? Okay, one abstention. Thank you so much, Councilmember Jones. Item number 2.4, that will be Councilmember Lee, Treasurer's Report.
Hello. The account is in good standing at $2,091.98. This is a can that we pass around. The town council thrives on donations. We are a community organization. So I'm going to pass this can around, and it's going to go that way through the audience, and then hopefully back down here, come around there, and then back home. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Lee. Item number 2.5, Corresponding Secretary's Report, Councilmember Wong.
Thank you, Chairman. At this time, I have nothing further to share. Nothing exciting coming on the corresponding world. But we will be, again, revamping our website. If anyone would like to participate within our community, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Wong. Let me just add one thing to your report, which is the men educating men about health and Pasadena City College Health Sciences invite you to Get Healthy Pasadena, South Pasadena, and Altadena 2019. Actually, I will have the flyers in the back. This is free screening. Diabetes, cholesterol, blood pressure, body composition analyzer, vision, hearing, dental, lung, and massages, health and life products, and more. So it is a free event. It will take place on Saturday, June 8th. Well, that's the same day we have our election. So, well, I like that. So you vote, and then you go and get healthy. It is free. And it's free lunch. So if nothing else, you vote, you go and get healthy, and you get fed. And that will be June 8th at the Pasadena City College, starting from 8:30 in the morning to 12:30 p.m. Again, all this information, we're going to have it in the back so that you can take it along with you. All right, moving on to public safety, and that will be item number 3.1, California Highway Patrol.
Good evening, Officer Norton, Highway Patrol. I'll try and keep this brief for you guys. Total of 26 crashes last month, and 10 of them involved some type of complaint or pain or minor injury as far as like a scrape or something like that. And 2 of those actually came out of a result of a DUI related collision. And out of those 26 collisions, 4 of them were DUI related, with a total of 6 DUIs for the month. 3 out of the 4 DUIs were into parked cars. So with summer coming up, just make sure that you guys are paying attention. Always buckle up and designate a sober driver.
Okay, council member, any questions for Officer Norton?
I just had.
Okay, council member Marcusson.
Yeah, I just had one really quick item to thank you for putting the, I don't know what you guys call it, the little cart thing that goes out in the road about the speed limits on New York Drive between Allen.
Oh, the radar trailer.
Yeah,
So unfortunately with the clouds, so
I
it
know,
runs off
I know.
solar, it keeps turning off.
right, I understand, but I'm thanking you for.
We're trying.
For putting that out there, because we had in 2 weeks, I think 3 crashes two into parked cars and 1 person getting hit on a motorcycle right in that area on New York Drive. So thank you very much for doing that. I'm hoping it's gonna help slow people down a little bit.
Of course. So hopefully the sun comes out because it does run off solar.
Yeah.
I have been checking it.
Right.
And then also we do have a couple enforcement teams coming up. A lot of our motors are going to be saturating that area depending on their schedules. So we hear the complaints and we try and take care of them as much as we can.
Yeah.
So we're trying to work on New York Drive.
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, thank you.
Any more questions from council?
Don't you have a tip of cop?
Yes, thank you. And you just said it. I just posted it on our online Instagram if you guys follow social media. But there's any tips that we receive. So we're going to be helping out with hosting, serving at the California Pizza Kitchen. I believe it's on North Robles in Pasadena on Thursday, 6 to 9. All the tips are going to go to the Special Olympics participants. Their final event is going to be held at Cal State Long Beach, I believe June 8th. And then if you come in and mention that you see the flyer, then they'll also give an additional 20% to the Pasadena Special Olympics team. Thank you for reminding me.
What was that date again?
This Thursday, the 23rd,
Did you give the time?
6 to 9.
6 to 9, thank you.
All right, just a little bit more details on that. All teams they receive plus 20% of food bills served at this event will be donated to a local Special Olympics Pasadena athlete. All right. Kudos
you.
and thank you. Item number 3.2, and that will be our Altadena Sheriff Station Lieutenant Canchola.
Good evening, Alex Canchola, Lieutenant. As I mentioned last month in my presentation, I wanted to make an effort to introduce your deputies who patrol and keep everyone safe. And deputies I'll be introducing tonight, they're on patrol, so I was fortunate enough to have them here. But we'll get them out into the field as quickly as we can so that we get them to where we want them to be, and that's protecting us. But let's see, our first deputy here is Deputy Balian. He's newly assigned to us, and he's actually our future here. And then our master field training officer, Sean Von Arks, who's actually our go-to person, our most experienced training officer, and our person that really provides a great deal of leadership for our future deputies. So I wanted to match a name with a face. These are the folks that you're going to see out there. They're the ones who are doing all the legwork. I just kind of do the public speaking for the most part. But ladies and gentlemen, here's a couple of your deputies, and as I mentioned, I'll try to do that every month to bring a couple other folks. Thanks, guys. So in the way of our crime report, our report was submitted to the council, and fortunately and unfortunately, fortunately our crime rate still remains down as compared to last year, which is always a good thing. Unfortunately, compared to last month, we had a couple of extra additional incidences. Fortunately, our crimes against persons, most violent crimes such as robbery and assault were down, and or were any crime against a person is very, very personal, and it's a significant emotional event. So I don't want to downplay any of those types of crimes, but we were very fortunate that no one was either seriously hurt, harmed, or hospitalized. But of our robberies, we had one armed robbery at our Metro PC store on Lincoln. Another robbery was force, and third robbery was with use of pepper spray. On the third robbery, the one with use of pepper spray, one of the two suspects was arrested, and the stolen items were recovered. So good police work, immediate response. We were fortunate that no one was seriously hurt in any of those incidences. What continues to drive our crime rate up, as I mentioned in the past, is our vehicle thefts and our petty thefts. Continue to be a huge burden to all of us, because even those are not in person or not robberies, they're still very personal because they invade our personal space, our safe place, our domain. So what we've done, as I mentioned last month, we've taken even a stronger approach towards placing those cards that you're a potential victim. On, Thursday, myself and one of my sergeants, we personally went out to a couple of the different areas, which are our trail areas, where we saw a slight spike in some of those vehicle thefts, window smashes, unlocked vehicles. We literally walked all the parked cars on Loma Alta and Lake, Eaton Canyon, Cheney Trail, inspected about maybe 25 cars, and of those, half, ladies and gentlemen, half had either laptop, backpack, a wallet right on the seat, everything in plain view. I mentioned that in my last report that there were the same thing, the window smashes, things that are in plain view. So experienced it just as of Thursday. So I can't express enough to get the message out to all our folks out there to really, really take a serious approach to removing those items, and I think that'll definitely help us in those crimes of opportunity for some of those criminals. Last month, I was asked by one of you in the audience about catalytic converters. Fortunately enough, we only had one catalytic converter theft. I had one of Deputy Dan Page, who I introduced last month. he contacted one of our local mechanics that specializes in Toyota vehicles, Toyota Priuses, to find out how are these criminals stealing these, the method that they're using in a way of cutting the pipes. He actually took video, but I'm not going to show that because it might show people how to actually do it who are not interested in stealing it. But one of the things I could recommend is that, because in different ways of these catalytic converters being stolen, is that they're raising the vehicle up using items such as rocks or bricks to keep it propped up so they can climb underneath there and cut the catalytic converter and remove it from the vehicle. Some of these vehicles, the catalytic converters are on the left side of the vehicle, some on the right. Recommendations that I would have is to be aware of where your catalytic converter is located. Maybe park your vehicle in an area in which it might be difficult for somebody to raise the vehicle, prop it up, and crawl underneath there. That's the best thing we can recommend at this point. The vehicle, the one catalytic converter, was from a Honda CR-V, whereas previously they were from those Toyota Priuses. So if anyone has any additional questions, I'd be more than happy to answer those off camera so that we can give you a little bit more details on how to prevent and not become a victim of that. Let's see here. We also had a request in regards to a location that might have some suspicious activity of a certain complex on the west side of our area. Again, Deputy Dan Page met with the residents privately. They were a little concerned for their safety because they lived in the neighborhood. We've actually reached out to them and offered them additional resources, and we reached out to our resources such as regional planning, public works, to see what administrative authority that we would have to try to abate some of the activity. Because it was when Deputy Dan Page responded out there, there was really nothing that we could find that was obviously of criminal nature, but there might be some other avenues that we have. So we continue to work with that group of folks there. And as well as anybody else here, if you have any questions or concerns and you'd like to ask us outside for privacy purposes, we won't have to do that. Now, I do want to announce that on June 10th, and I believe you received our flyer for our Altadena Safety Summit on June 10th here in this room from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. If you haven't, okay. What the Safety Summit is, and I've done several in other areas in which I worked in, and what we're specific to the Sheriff's Department. And on that day, we're going to have our topics that we're going to speak of are internet scams, elderly abuse, hiking safety, which includes locking your vehicles, and then wildfires, and how to either prevent, whether you're taking a hike and for whatever reason using any type of incendiary device, but the safety of hiking. And we're going to have each of the speakers provide some information, as well as we'll have plenty of staff on hand to answer any other general law enforcement questions. So that'll be an opportunity for just Altadena Sheriff's Department answering your questions, covering these topics, and of course we'll take any suggestions or recommendations for any topics that you'd like to have in future safety summits. The only other thing I have is our annual car show, and I believe you have the flyer for our car show, and that will be on, the June 8th over at Farnsworth Park, and all are welcome, invited. And last year was my first year, and it was a good showing, and I think we're looking at having even a bigger showing. So at this point, any questions?
All right, any questions from, okay, Councilmember Malone?
Looking at the report, I'll make this quick. Census Tract 4602, it's really high this month. You've got 5 under larceny, grand theft, petty theft includes theft from vehicles, and 4 under vehicle burglary. Now, I'm assuming that's what you were discussing before on both those items, which is 9, which is the highest for that month, was things left on seats and things like this. Is that primarily residential area, commercial area, or is that people parking at the trails, where they know the vehicles are going to be left unattended for an hour or so? Where is that happening?
For this past month, it was the trails. Okay. Previous month, it was a combination of both, but more within the residential areas. And what we're planning on doing, actually what we've just implemented, is, and I apologize for, I just missed that here. We allocated two separate teams of, two units with 2 deputies in those units to address crime-specific crime areas, trends, things such as that, and their vehicle burglaries. On June 15th, we began our summer crime enforcement team, which is a pair of deputies in 1 unit. That crime enforcement team unit, that program, was sponsored and funded by Supervisor Catherine Barger, and so that began on May 15th, and it'll continue until September. Now, all 3 teams will be out and about and available throughout the summertime to address specific crime-specific problems, as well as in the event that there's a high volume of calls for service, they'll assist in reducing any of those response times. But their primary role is to identify our crime areas, our times, our dates, days of the week, types of vehicle, any patterns. They'll be working closely with our detectives and our crime analysts to identify any patterns and just address those issues specifically. Those 3 teams for the next up until September, and then we'll still have the 2 teams.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Knapp.
Thank you. Just 2 questions. One, is there any update as to the search for a captain for Altadena Station?
The only information I have is there will be a decision made by the end of this month.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't have a date.
That's okay. That's okay. That's good news. And secondly, and I brought this to Deputy Dan Page's attention, there seems to be someone that answers the non-emergency line when people from Altadena call into the Altadena station during daytime hours that is especially unfriendly, rude to the point of being hostile to callers. Deputy Dan knows who this individual is, but I do think that it's important because we have operated under this, if you see something, say something, moniker for so long that residents are hesitant to call in because of how their call is received, no matter what the call is about, whether it's hypodermic needles in the park or it's there's a handicapped person who's unresponsive, whatever it happens to be. So perhaps if you want to have a conversation with Deputy Dan, he can fill you in. I reached out to him when this became an issue on social media not too long ago.
Okay, I certainly will, and I do appreciate you bringing this to my attention so that I can address it in this manner. If the problem isn't resolved, which I hope to be resolved sooner, as everyone here knows, we do have a formal complaint process, which will cause us to conduct a thorough investigation or inquiry into the conduct and administer, administrative discipline if needed. But again, I appreciate you coming to me at this point and advising me so that I have an opportunity to address it without making having an adverse, relationship, so it even bitters the person and causes even more, unwanted service. So again, I thank you, and I'll address it.
Okay, there was one more council member. Okay, Councilmember Sanika.
I just had one short question. I just want to know, is there, like if you're a victim of cyber crime, is there a cyber police station? And if so, how do you contact them?
A police station, no. We do have our cyber crimes unit that specifically investigates cyber crimes. But what would have to occur first is that if you feel you're a victim of crime, contact your local station, which here is Altadena, and we'll take what's called a first report, and then we'll forward it to cyber crimes. If we think that it's a larger scale, again, we still have to take the first report and then refer it to the experts on that. But we do have a cyber crimes unit in the Sheriff's Department.
Cyber crime unit. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Lieutenant Canchola. Item number 3.3, County Fire, Ms. Grycan.
Good evening. For the month of April, we did have a total of 340 responses in Altadena. 261 of those were medical calls. And of those, we did transport 193 patients to the hospital. We had 5 fires, 2 cooking fires, 2 trash fires, and 1 vehicle fire on Lincoln Avenue, and that's the only one that resulted in any damages. So there was a $3,000 property damage, $2,000 in contents damage. We had a number of instances of wires down, arcing wires, power line down. God, when the wind starts blowing, this is what happens. And then we did have 1 chemical spill or a leak on Mountain View Street on April 20th, but no damages resulted from that. And then there were the 17 traffic collisions that we responded to that are itemized for you. One of them was versus pedestrian on April 26th at New York Drive and Hill Avenue. And the other one is, there was no details available because I like to look for details when I see this, but one was reported as traffic collision into a structure at Palm Street and Ewing Avenue, but there was no details in the narrative for that. So it may have been coded wrong. It may have just been a collision. And that's about it.
Okay, any questions from, okay, Councilmember Sutherlen?
Did you send the report to us this month?
I
just didn't
I
find
did. I did it today, and I
okay.
meant, you know, I
Sorry.
finished it this morning. And then when I was sitting at my desk late this afternoon, something, I think it was still open on my computer, and I realized I never actually emailed it. And then I was having trouble with the emails, so you may have gotten it twice. So.
Well, good to know, because it's a report that's got a lot of really good information on it, so.
Yeah, so it's waiting for you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Item number 3.4, map your neighborhood. Ms. Gibson.
Good evening, council members, and to our big full audience tonight. That's so great. It's going to flop, I can tell. I don't have a lot of news tonight. I did want to just report that we had our our community training session on Sunday, and one of your number came. I was hoping that he'd be here tonight, Mr. Simons, so he could maybe say a sentence or two about his experience there. But in any case, our numbers are growing little by little. We're right about at 10, 11% of residences covered by a meeting. And for those of you who are new to Town Council, you've missed our announcement of what Map Your Neighborhood is. Map Your Neighborhood is a program that gathers neighbors just block by block so that you can make a disaster plan together. It's an easy conversation that's guided. You get to know your neighbors too, so there's that added benefit of a little bit of community cohesion, and it deals with those little nagging worries that we have in the back of our minds about what are we going to do after a disaster? How do we behave effectively together? And this answers that question. So you can find us on Facebook. Excuse me. You can find us on Facebook at Altadena Map Your Neighborhood. That's easy, or you can catch up with me and I'll talk to you about it. Our next training is in July. Our next community training is in July. And that's for people who want to have that meeting in their house, but they're not sure how to start. What do I do? And we'll help you every step of the way. But I also, is Maria still here? Yes. Maria. I just wanted to give a public shout out to Maria because she answered our call to begin to work together so that we could set up public fire suppression training, because many of us have fire extinguishers in our homes, right? Could I see a show of hands of those who have a fire extinguisher in your home? Oh, good, okay. Well, the problem is with those, we never get to use them, and you can't practice with them because then they're kind of wrecked. So the fire department brings a whole mess of fire extinguishers, and then people get to go up and actually get that experience of putting out a fire and without the danger. And that muscle memory will stand us in good stead if we get a serious earthquake. So that's all I wanted to tell you, and just thank you, Maria. So thanks for the time.
Thank you so much.
Any questions?
It is with great pleasure to welcome Ms. Alexia Sai to the Altadena Town Council meeting tonight. Ms. Sai is an 11th grader and a resident of Altadena. Alexia is the first place winner of Congresswoman Judy Chu's 10th annual Artistic Discovery Competition for her photography, Maud. The photograph that you see that I presented to you, not this one, but the original, this is a replica that the family has donated to the town council. The original will be displayed at the U.S. Capitol for 1 year. In addition, she was awarded $1,000 as well as a trip for two to Washington, D.C. for the unveiling ceremony. I am honored to present you, meaning Alexia, and I will bring her up to the podium in a minute, with certificate of recognition on behalf of the Altadena Town Council for your I consider this to be incredible. Artistic talent and for winning the first place at this competition. I was fortunate that I was there when she was awarded the first prize winner. There were 200 entries and they were unbelievable. And for an Altadenan, an 11th grader, to be placed number one, it is a shouting time for us. And for this particular photograph, to be placed at the U.S. Capitol, it is also another thing that we as Altadenans can be proud of. Without further ado, I would like to bring Alexia Sai to the podium. I'll read this before I actually, hold on. Okay. This is from Altadena, Certificate of Recognition. Alexia Sai, in recognition of your passion and artistic talent in taking first place at Congresswoman Judy Chu's 10th Annual Artistic Discovery Competition for the year 2019. Congratulations, May 21st, 2019. Signed by myself, the chairman of the Altadena Town Council, as well as Councilmember Veronica Jones, secretary. Congratulations. moving along with recognitions. Councilmember Knapp, item number 4.2.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair, fellow council members and community. I began to visit the Balian house, mansion as we called it, shortly after I was born. It was a tradition with my mother, who was born and raised in Pasadena, and her parents ahead of her. I have gone with my own sons for the last 12 years. That's 4 generations of awe-stricken revelers in my family alone. The passing of George Balian at age 88, son of Habib and Kalmoun Balian, on February 17, 2019, marked the end of an era not only for Altadenans, but Pasadenans, Southern Californians, and visitors the world over to the Balian family home that was spectacularly lit with more than 10,000 lights, holiday scenery, and carols during the Christmas season for nearly 60 years. Dating back to the 1940s, generations of Balians lived in their family home. In fact, 2 of George's nieces here tonight, Ida and Cal, were both born there. Their mother, Jeanette, who is still going strong at 95 and was married to George's brother Alex, still lives nearby on Mendocino. George was co-founder and co-owner of the Balian Ice Cream Company, and together with his Syrian immigrant parents, his brothers Alex, Fred, Jack, and sister Agnes, kept the business operating into the 1990s. George was an Army veteran, avid gardener, orchid grower, classically trained pianist, organist, and business innovator. He and his sister Agnes, neither of whom ever married, lived in the home together until they each passed away. And it was lastly George who was the steward of the holiday lights and display at their family home, bringing joy and delight to all who made the annual trek to the Mendocino home. On behalf of Chair Ezieme, the Town Council, Senator Portantino's office, and Catherine Barger's office, it is my great honor and privilege to call up Ida and Cal Balian as we pay tribute to their Uncle George and thank them and their extended family for all they have given to this community and beyond.
So I wanted to introduce you to Dominic Okorie. He is representative from State Senator Anthony Portantino's office.
We're going to let the Senator's office do the first presentation, then followed by our Supervisor's office, and then I will go next.
So on behalf of the California State Senate, I am proud to join the Altadena Town Council in recognizing the life of George Balian. Over the last 60 years, the Balian House has brought holiday joy to generations of family throughout the Altadena and Pasadena area. I thank the family for sharing George with us. May he rest in peace for his spirit. May he rest in peace and his spirit forever be remembered by all those whose lives he has touched. And I, for sure, have been to that house a million times with me and my daughter. So just thank you, and I hope his spirit lives on.
Thank you.
Don't go too far. We all will take a picture. So, Supervisor's office, please.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of LA County Supervisor Catherine Barger. We're no stranger to Altadena, especially myself, as far as growing up here, and right around Christmas time, our family would take a little trip down the street to see the Balian house. And now I find myself in the supervisor's office and given this, this honored task as far as to recognize George Balian and the man that he was and what he did for this community. As far as I learned more and more about George, if you don't mind me saying that, I learned that he was an artist and took pride in his art, and not just took pride in his art, but wanted to share his art with the community and really with the world. And so this community, and as well as this community, is better for the art that he shared, as far as I took part of. And as far as I know, we all, not just those in this room, but those across the region, have a fond memory as far as of that art that he displayed. So on behalf of Supervisor Barger, we'd like to just acknowledge his life and extend gratitude for you all sharing him with us. And as far as now, we stand with you in remembering him, not just today, but always. Thank you.
All right, finally from your Altadena Town Council. For me, it is very humbling. In 1991 was the first time that I had the opportunity to see what Christmas tree land was all about, but there was no Christmas tree land without this Balian or a visit and a trip there. I was not a resident of California. I came all the way from New York to see what the Christmas tree land and this infamous Balian house was. So, all my children, we've all shared moments there. We've been in the yard, so it seemed almost like yesterday, but it's been a while. So, on behalf of your Altadena Town Council, we just want to award this certificate to the Balian family in memory of George Balian for decades of joy brought to families near and far with the annual Balian holiday light display, awarded this 21st day of May 2019. Signed, Okorie, Ezieme, Chair of the Altadena Town Council.
Ready? Oh, let's go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, one more.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, good
Thank
shot.
you.
Mix everybody in right here. Tall one in the back.
Come on.
Okay, there we go.
I'll come in the back.
Okay, smile everybody, ready? Ah, beautiful. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Councilmember Jones, that you next, 4.3.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What is a soldier? A soldier, whether active, duty, discharged, retired, or reserved, is someone who at one point in his or her life wrote a blank check made payable to the United States of America for an amount of, quote, up to and including his or her life, end quote. Marine Lance Corporal Dion Whitley, resident of Altadena, wrote a check to the United States of America. We are here tonight to honor and remember him.
Dion succeeded as a Boy Scout in Troop 40 and became an Eagle Scout under the leadership of Mr. Clarence Stubblefield. And Mr. Stubblefield is from Altadena. Dion often wrote about becoming a Marine in his high school essays while attending John Muir High School. Dion entered into the Marines shortly after graduating from high school, even though he could have went directly into a four-year college. He was assigned to the 1st Battalion, 5th Marine Regiment, 1st Marine Division, 1st Marine Exploratory Force at Camp Pendleton and was deployed to Iraq.
Dion was a big, strong young man with a gentle soul and quiet spirit. He mentored other scouts and spent summers at Cherry Valley as a camp counselor. After his service, Dion's plan were to continue his education, to buy a home, and start a business. On June 5, 2005, Dion's Humvee rolled over a homemade bomb that hit the gas tank of the vehicle.
Tonight, on behalf of the Altadena Town Council, Senator Anthony Portantino, Supervisor Barger, we honor and thank his mother, Deborah Whitley, and his brother, Arian Whitley, for giving us their son and brother. Thank you. We honor you. We want to remember Dion. Dion lived right up off of Altadena Drive. So we have a presentation for you, so if you can step up, the family. Dion was 21 years old. Okay, first I want to have Mr. Richardson.
Thank you. So today I stand proudly as an officer of the United States Air Force, serving at the Edwards Air Force Base, where we have Navy, we have foreign military, we have Marines who test the greatest weapons for our war fighters. And I commend the council for honoring Lance Corporal Whitley for his dedication and for his service to our country. And indeed, this city lost a son, our nation lost a patriot, and his fellow war fighters, we lost a brother in arms, and that deeply touches us. And we gather today and assemble. We vote. We have access to education for one reason and one reason alone. That is because your son, your brother, he took the same oath that I took, which is to lay down our lives to defend the freedom of this great nation. And we must never, never forget that. And so I've been tasked with presenting you with the Altadena city flag. It's not a big flag, but it's a portable flag. Doesn't have $1,000 in here, but it is filled with love. And it is my honor on behalf of this great nation and the United States military to present to you the city flag of Altadena. Thank you.
Okay, let's start with Senator Anthony Portantino's office.
On behalf of State Senator Anthony Portantino and the California State Senate, I am proud and humbled to recognize the service of Marine Lance Corporal Dion M. Whitley, who gave the ultimate sacrifice for our country, a celebration of his life lived with dignity and pride. I thank his family for sharing his life and his love with the community. May he rest in peace and his spirit forever be remembered by all of those lives he has touched. Thank you.
Assemblymember Chris Holding's office.
Good evening, Altadena community and Altadena Town Council members. I'm particularly privileged to be here representing Assemblymember Chris Holden to represent to present this acknowledgement to the family of the brave soldier who sacrificed his life for our country. And as a military brat, born in Fort Ord, and the daughter of veterans, my mother, Dolores Hickenbottom, an Army vet, and my father, Elby Hickenbottom, also an Army vet, I'm particularly honored to have this chance to stand with you. And as also a fellow member of American Legion Post 13. But I would like to present to you and your family this in memoriam certificate from Assembly Member Chris Holden, which reads, in memoriam, honoring the life of Marine Lance Corporal Dan M. Whitley, killed in action. Ramadi, Iraq, June 15, 2005, in whose memory we pay tribute and reverence on this date, Memorial Day 2019. On behalf of the California State Assembly, may I express our deepest sympathy. Chris Holden, California State Legislature. Thank you so much.
Okay, lastly, but not the least, the Altadena Town Council Certificate of Appreciation. All right, stand to be corrected. He's short. That's why I couldn't see him. Come on, supervisor's office.
I take no offense at all. To your credit, I was standing next to the tripod. I probably blended in there. So I was standing to the side. But again, good evening. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of the supervisor. As was stated earlier in the remarks in the introduction of your son and your brother, it's talked about a check. And as I think to myself, what value do we place on someone's service? And what value do we place on someone's life? Now, I ask one last question, and what's the value that we place on someone's service who gives their life? It's simple, which is priceless. Today, we lift up a son of this community, your son, your brother. We lift him up more than just a community member. We lift him up more than just a son or family member. We lift him up more than just a soldier. We lift him up to be a hero, one that we will always remember, one that we will always be grateful for. And a blessing in disguise that we have the young people here in the back and in the audience that hears his story, that may be inspired in whatever they may do, whether that's to serve their nation in the military, or it's to serve in office as our town council members here, or if it's to serve in the way that they've been called to do. So on behalf of Supervisor Barger, we would again stand with you as you continue to remember your son and brother for the sacrifice that he made. And we thank you. Also here from Supervisor Barger's office is Mr. Robert Alvarez, who's a supervisor's assistant for military and veteran affairs. Did not come alone. So we are both here again to pay tribute to your son and brother.
Okay, I think the town council is next. The Altadena Town Council Certificate of Appreciation presented to the family of Marine Lance Corporal Leon M. Whitley. You are always remembered, for we can never forget your courage and sacrifice so that others can live with hope and without fear. Know on this day and all days you are remembered. On this 21st day of May 2019, the Altadena Town Council remembers and thanks you for your service and sacrifice. Signed, Okorie Ezieme, Chairman, Altadena Town Council.
About Dion, about Dion's community. I want to have the Eagle Scouts stand up that were in Dion's troop. And the great man that produces all these Eagle Scouts, Mr. Clarence Stubblefield.
Thank you, Councilmember Jones. May I use this opportunity to ask, we want to recognize every veteran in the House. We do want to recognize you if you have served in any way, form, fashion, anywhere in our military. We want to see you. Please, can you stand up, please? Thank you for your service to this great country. Okay, moving on to item number 5.1, that will be the Land Use Committee and Councilmember Morrison.
Okay, the Land Use Committee had no items to review or to vote on for the May meeting, so the May meeting was canceled. I did want to take a minute to just give a quick update on the New York Drive project. The New York Drive project this week moved in to tear up New York Drive. All of the north-south streets are shut off. You can't cross New York Drive. My understanding is that the current schedule is that will be that way for about another month and a half or month. So they're just digging it up now. So there are ways around, and if you look at the information that's been sent out to all of us, or if you look on the Department of Public Works website, there you can see where the detours are. But they're done with all the curbs and the sidewalks and the guardrails, right? So anyway, that's all. Just that we've moved on to big discussion. Oh, between Allen and right. Okay, yeah. Okay, that work correct. So the phase one of the project is now in tear up New York Drive mode. That will be another month and a half, and then they will move to Allen to Hill and start all over again and redo the sidewalks and the gutters and the curbs. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Markison. We still have quite a bit on the agenda, so I'll try to speed it up as much as possible. We'd like to be able to get out around 9 o'clock. 5.2, Safe Streets. Councilmember Wong.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. So happy Bike Month. May is Bike Month. So just wanted to announce that. And our next Safe Streets meeting will be June the 13th. We'll also be providing some comments on the county's sustainability master plan as it relates to transportation. So if anybody wants to get involved in that, let me know. The deadline is this Friday. And then just a traffic safety report, because the county couldn't be here today. They have started the Devil's Gate project excavation phase today. They started with 62 trucks, which is about 60% or so of the capacity. So if you are traveling via Arroyo Windsor from 7 a.m. To 10 a.m., the trucks will be rotating through on and off the freeway there, and then until 3:30 they will be entering Arroyo Windsor and exiting Berkshire. So just keep up to date on that. You can stay up to date at devilsgateproject.com. If you have any concerns, you can also give them a call. So check out the website. It has the traffic patterns, devilsgateproject.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Wong. 5.3, Election Committee, Councilmember Lee.
Hello. We have an election coming up, and the dates for the election are June 8th, which is a Saturday, and June 4th, which is in early voting. It's a Tuesday. The times will be available and the locations by the end of the week. These are the facts around the election. One census tract is contested. In another census tract, there is no candidate. In 6 census tracts, there is one tract with a new candidate, and all the others have one incumbent running. And now I'd like to introduce the candidates and have them come up one by one. This list is alphabetical, and make a 3-minute statement. Joseph Brumfield, the second. Joseph, Mr. Brumfield? Okay. Okay, next one. Randy Connor. Okay. Veronica Jones.
She's here. I'm here. Can I do it right here? Can I do it here? Yeah. No, come on up. Come on up. Good evening again. I am currently serving as your representative for Census Tract 4610. I am a proud Altadena native, having lived in this community for over 50 years. Growing up in Altadena, I appreciate the culture, diversity, and potential of the community. I love my community and care deeply what the future holds for its residents, schools, and businesses. 2 years ago, I ran for Altadena Town Council for 3 reasons: to support and improve the quality of life for all fellow Altadena residents, invest in the community's future, and to bring core values of neighborhoods into decision-making. Those reasons continue to be my reasons for running a second term. In my 2 years, I have worked to gain the support of my neighbors and friends here in Census Tract 4610 and around Altadena. Together, we have worked to make our community safer, greener, and cleaner. I would like to continue the work we have started. I have pushed the Altadena Town Council to be more active in the community, fought to end police brutality, worked with the county to bring infrastructure improvements to our area. We got new stop signs on Casitas, and kept in touch with community members through events and informational town halls. Our community is about to embark upon exciting times. If I am re-elected, I will make sure our community is involved and engaged in all the new developments and events taking place in the Altadena community. I will continue to support and improve the quality of life in Altadena. This election is about the future of our neighborhood. We need to keep our neighborhood moving forward. We're all in this together. Thank you.
Victoria Knapp.
Good evening. I'm Victoria Knapp, and I'm running for re-election to the Altadena Town Council in Census Tract 4601. Over the last 2 years, I've prided myself on keeping residents of my census tract and those in Greater Altadena informed as to the issues of concern in our community. I've worked diligently to keep them informed of trends in crime, fire, and safety, as well as to keep them abreast of projects such as CUPs, tree removal, curb and sidewalk repair, road maintenance and resurfacing on Allen and Mariposa, bringing pickleball to Farnsworth Park, and maintenance and update of the Mount Curve median, as well as the many community events and meetings occurring in Altadena. I've assisted residents in answering questions about our community and/or connect them with the right individuals with the county to resolve issues. In addition to my role on Town Council, I'm a member of the Land Use Committee, the Filming Committee, and the Education Committee. I also serve as PTA president at one of our public schools, Altadena Arts Magnet. I've established good working relationships with representatives in the offices of our elected officials and with county personnel. I've proven myself to be involved in this community by my attendance at all of our town council meetings save one, land use committee meetings, filming committee meetings, and education committee town halls. I make it a point to support the events in other census tracts, having attended both community meetings in Census Tract 4610. I've attended Pasadena City Council meetings pertaining to issues involving Altadena, in particular police brutality, POSD school board meetings, Altadena Chamber of Commerce meetings, and meetings held by our local dignitaries, specifically Congresswoman Chu, State Senator Portantino, Assemblyman Holden, and Supervisor Barger. I have also attended County Department of Regional Planning meetings where CUPs in my census tract were on the agenda. I am resourceful, tenacious, balanced, fair, and approachable, all attributes that serve me well as a council member. I love and am committed to the betterment of our town. Thank you.
I was so caught up. Billy Malone.
I'm tall. Little adjustment. Hi, I'm Billy Malone. I never thought I'd be here serving, especially for so long. Those that don't know me, going back to when I was in high school, I was considered stupid because back then I was dyslexic and that's what they thought we were. I later went on to college and succeeded, but I really know what it felt like then to be considered one way when you knew you were better than that. Each one of us, when we decide to take an office or run, we do it for many reasons, but it typically starts off with a single reason. In my case, it was a family member who's disabled, and I didn't like some of the things that was happening, and rather than sit back and complain, I decided to get involved. And I decided then that it's not about me. If you're going to get involved, it's about all of us. The first time I ran, it was for Altadena Town Council. And I remember one of the emails I received from one of the residents, and they emailed me and said, I want to know what your opinion is on all these matters. because I haven't made up my mind who I'm voting for yet. And I remember at the time, that was one of my first email responses, and I said, I will give you my opinion, and these are my opinion on those matters. But you have to remember one thing. I don't represent me. It's not about my opinion. It's about who we represent. When you take an office or you choose to run for something and you choose to be a civic leader, it's not about you. You don't get to choose who you represent. You chose to represent them. And that's what all of us have to try and remember. And that's where I come from. And I think over the last 3 times I've ran here on town council, that's where I come from. This is my 4th run. I hope to get re-elected. Another thing I'd like to mention is that if you ever look at somebody you're considering voting for and they tell you how committed they are to their community, don't listen to what they're going to tell you they're going to do when they get in. Listen to what they tell you what they're going to do if they don't get in. I've run many times and I've lost a seat I've run for recently, and I'm still here and I'm still going. I was committed after losing. So listen to what people say they're going to do if they don't win. For me, that's important. The hardest part for me of holding office is sometimes you have to, the confusing is you have to vote against what you feel. Because, again, it's not about you, and sometimes you have your own convictions, but you represent other people. So that's the hardest part. But 2 things I want to end up with around this office. One, I believe in transparency, and I believe in being approachable, and I have absolutely nothing to hide. So if you have your pens, and if you don't care, I'm not going to give you my office number or a Google Voice or a business email. This is my cell phone, 626-893-0787. You can call me anytime. If I'm busy, I won't pick up, and when I'm not busy, I call you back. But it's about being transparent and being approachable. My email, ban1997@sbcglobal.net. If you didn't get it, see me later, I'll give it to you. Okay? And the second thing I'm going to commit to is I'm going to end on this, is there's a few things happening in my census tract right now. I'm dealing with a traffic issue, a CUP over a building that was built in 1946. We have an up-and-coming hearing downtown, and we need to start planning for a town hall for our census tract. If I don't get in, I still make the commitment to help make those things happen and to make sure that the next person that takes over is also committed to getting the current things done as well as future things. That's it. Thank you. Vote for Billy Malone.
And the next person is sick, Nick Santangelo. He is sick this evening, so he won't be here. So we're going to skip ahead to Sylvia Vega.
I'm not as tall as Billy. Good evening. Hold on, let me make this up. Good evening. My name is Sylvia Vega, and I am currently holding an office of Town Council for Census Tract 4613. 14 years ago, I bought my home as a single mom in the census tract, and I had no idea at the time when I was looking at homes I would be buying in Pasadena, which is the unincorporated area of Pasadena, Altadena services, but with a Pasadena address. And I served with my counterpart, Diane Markison. I currently not only live in the area, obviously, but also work in the area as well. And I am also an Altadena Rotarian. So serving a community is something that's very important to me as well. I've served 3 terms on the Altadena Town Council and also 4 years with Land Use Committee. And I'm excited to be here. You know, because we work in the community, we get to know our neighbors, we get to know what's important to them. And just as Billy said, sometimes it's really not about the popular thing of what everybody wants, but in that area. Whether it is dealing with a banquet hall that's coming in, whether it was working with the sheriff's department because we had a troubled home in our community with drug trafficking, and we had to set up a meeting with the sheriff and the community to sit down and hear their concerns, hear their worries about their children and the neighborhood and how things are being handled. It's really in the day-to-day activity of being there for the young children who live in the communities and the 97-year-olds, veterans who live in the communities. We're the eyes and ears for our census tracts between here and the county. I'm excited to be running again and hope to have the opportunity to work with Diane, my counterpart, and along with the county to be the eyes and ears here in our little census tract of Pasadena. And I look forward to have the opportunity to serve Altadena again. Thank you.
Reggie Wilkins.
Hello, council members and audience. Usually I look a little worse than I do today, but we had some issues at the house, so teenagers and such, so I apologize for not being as attractive as my colleagues. But I first came into the council in 2012. I didn't want to do it at all. I was pretty much recruited by neighbors who kind of almost forced me to do it. I'm like, oh, come on, it seems like a lot of work. I got young kids. I'm busy, please, please, and they begged me. And the last minute I said, I'll do it. And I enjoyed it. It was hard. You know, we had some tough issues with Walmarts, and it was interesting to be baptized here with local politics. It was quite an experience. And I did it for 2 years. I don't think I missed a single meeting. And that first term was it. I'm done with this. See you guys later. Have fun. I love you all. You did great work. And I came back last year, and things have changed. I mean, the issues are the same, but the council, it's improved so much. I think it has to do with the leadership. I mean, we have tough issues, but the council itself functions so well, and I give that to the chair. It's so much better to tackle hard issues if you're not fighting each other. And so it's pretty awesome seeing the difference that has changed. So I haven't looked at my notes. I bother writing all this. I'm just improvising, but that's what I want to say. But let me go ahead and speak to this. So what I said is, while controversial issues are still, filling up our building here, the council seems to have found a way to keep divided issues from dividing the council. And I suspect that the chair has a lot to do with this. But my history and all this doesn't speak to whether or not I would be a good council person going forward. And so that's, of course, for voters to decide. But I want to suggest maybe some criteria that you could use for your next council person if it's not me. I think you probably want to ask them, well, do they represent their census tract? Sort of a fundamental thing. I'm 4612 in New York, Mendocino, Eden Canyon, Lake. Do they represent that? Do they represent Altadena? We're Altadena. We're special. We're not Pasadena. We're special. We're Altadena, right? Do they represent sort of California? America. Start locally and globally, right? Are we sort of the world? Are we representing what's best about people? I want you to maybe think about that when you're choosing a person instead of whether on the left side like I do. And so I can't say that I'm all these things, but I would want maybe to give you some criteria that you could sort of decide whether or not I live up to that standard that I'd want, say, my congressman or my president to live up to. So this is my sort of evidence. A council person forwarded me an email from a constituent a few months ago that was concerned that a neighbor's yard was way overgrown and they weren't taking care of it, and they made the sidewalk impossible to pass. And I listened to their emails, and I decided I'd take a drive over there and take a look. And so I asked them before I did that, have you talked to this neighbor, to see what's going on, and maybe there's some issues, and they hadn't talked to him. So I drove up there one Saturday, and the kids are doing their thing, the wife, everyone's working, everyone's busy, there's tons of things to do, but I made time to get over there, and sure enough, it was like a jungle. I mean, the grass was like this tall, and I'm like, okay, there's a problem. And I'm walking there, and the woman actually comes there. This woman comes over there, and she says, hi, what you doing? I'm saying, well, I was just noticing this, you know, the rains had definitely hit this place pretty good. My backyard looks like this too. And she goes, yeah, you know, there's a problem, you know, maybe I can get a weed eater or some herbicide. We're talking like a half acre. I'm like, I don't think that's going to be enough to do that. You know, maybe if you actually get some neighbors together, you know, we could like have a potluck or something and all work together to work on this problem, you know. And I wasn't telling her I was a spy for the town council. I'm just saying I'm a concerned neighbor and I want to see if I could work out something. And so she said, yeah, maybe so. And I emailed the guy, so I talked to her, and she's sort of into this, but I'm not sure, right? So basically, I'm not sure what happened then, but a few weeks ago I went back and it was all cleared out. So I don't know if my activity actually made anything happen there, but I want to think that what I think about the town council is about public service, about bringing people together and solving problems. And that seemed like a simple problem. He didn't even talk to her about the issue. She didn't know there was a problem. I said, hey, maybe we could do something, and it get fixed, right? So it's like a little small thing. My contribution to Little Altadena is helping people come together and fix things. And maybe that spirit of giving and service can lead to, you know, us being a more beautiful Altadena and all that sort of stuff. So you know, that's really all I have to say is, I mean, I could tell you about my, you know, credentials, blah, blah, blah. I've been in Altadena since 2000. You know, I've been involved in politics and this and that. But I just want to say that I think my love for Altadena, my love for serving people and looking for solutions to problems in a creative way is something I'd do if I were not reelected. It wouldn't change much. But I hope that the people of Altadena want someone who thinks small, serving people, and hopefully we can make everything better for all of us. Thanks.
Dorothy Wong.
Reggie's tall. Whoops. Uh-oh. So hello, everybody. My name is Dorothy Wong. I represent currently Census Tract 460301. Does everyone know where that is? So 460301 is Altadena Drive north to the National Forest, and Fair Oaks west to the Arroyo Seco. So we have a very dynamic census tract. It represents Cheney Trail, Lavinia, the Meadows, Janes Village. So I'm really excited. I ran because I was hitting a level of leadership in my life, learning about environmental leadership, and also bicycling safety and transportation. And so when the town council thing came up, I really wanted to make a difference. I do a lot of volunteerism, helping, so suddenly I became the town council member. I don't know how that happened, but I had a great time. I got really excited, and I wanted really what's best that I thought the potential of Altadena could do together. And with that, I realized I had a lot to learn about how government works. My background is Hollywood television production, putting on bicycle events, associate director in Hollywood. Stand by, 30 seconds to air, ready, camera, 5. So doing a lot of things at once was really what I do. And so I think I'm proud of what I've been able to help accomplish in our community. One was our Christmas party. We brought zero waste to the Altadena Christmas party and really helped community members within Altadena called the Green Circle get their feet grounded here, and now they're providing zero waste at the Altadena Farmers Market. I also am passionate about traffic safety mobility, and we started the Safe Streets Committee. I'm grateful to all of the council members that got involved in that committee and community members. We hosted 2 town halls now, and guess what's number 1? People want to walk safely. So that's been really exciting, and working with Councilmember Jones with Jackson Elementary, and really seeing how the community and the county and all of us can work together to create a great program. We have a great package from Cal Walks that did a study around Jackson Elementary. that we would love to keep sharing. So I said, wow, if I don't run again, I won't be able to help Safe Streets with the next schools, or I could. But I really got excited, and I'm really passionate and would love to represent 460301 and Altadena into the future. I love the environment. I love the trees. We created a pop-up park at the Bob Lucas Library. We turned the Bob Lucas Library into a park for the day. And then also we did a gathering for nature at the Zorthian, bringing our community together, hiking, being up there, creating Altadena wildlife with a group of residents concerned about rodenticides. And we also brought to light glyphosate being used in our community, which is now being, thankfully, Supervisor Barger and Pasadena now are actually today at the meeting, they are actually actively looking at alternates to not using Roundup in our community. So thank you very much. I hope you vote for me. I'm going to work really hard, and I am a very passionate woman, so I need to control that passion a little bit. But thank you very much. Aloha.
That is the end of the list.
Thank you, Councilmember Lee. Okay, let's move on to the Altadena community reports, and starting with the Altadena Library.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here to make a few brief announcements about the Altadena Library. My name's Terry Andrews. I'm on the Board of Trustees for the library. Wanted to announce that we had our bookstore, our book sale, and thank the residents of Altadena for participating in that last weekend at the Altadena Library in the main branch. We had a 3-day sale. It's the big event for the Friends of the Library every year, and we raised over $6,000 for that. So thanks everybody who participated in buying some books from that. Happens every year, and the Friends of the Library now, a support group for us, have been doing this for 60 years, so they deserve a lot of recognition for that. We also have released on our website an RFP for space planning and architectural services. We are in the beginning stages of planning for improvements at the library. And I mention this only because if any of you out there have worked with a good architect lately or know one, if you could direct them to our website, which is altadenalibrary.org. The RFP is there, and we'd love to have lots of companies from which to pick and choose. We've got a month or so before these are due. We also now have mobile hotspots available at the library for folks. Those are using unlimited 4G and LTE data through a provider, through Sprint, our provider there. So again, you can go to our website to get a little bit more information about that. It's a terrific service. And then a real big event for us every year is our summer reading program. And this year it kicks off on June the 1st. We've actually got a clock that counts it down. It's great for adults, it's great for kids. We ask everybody to take a look at our website again and consider signing up for that program. We're going to kick it off on June the 1st, on Saturday, with a truck day, mostly for the kids, but for some adults too, I think, because we're getting trucks from all over, fire trucks, construction trucks, etc., to be there, and there'll be crafts and other things for people to do. And then we are going to have, on May the 24th, which is this Friday, an open studios art tour and silent auction. It's going to be at the main library branch. Terrific opportunity to see some really good art and intermingle with the artists themselves. And there's more information about that at openstudios.gallery. That's a good website to check out for what's going to be happening. And then following that, for a couple of Saturdays in June, again, you can get more information on the website, will be a studio tour that you can go on. You can sign up for that. That's always a pretty interesting event. We have our Starlight, Starbright, Star Party, I had to say that very slowly, on June the 6th at 7 o'clock, 7 to 9:30, I think. And that's a great opportunity to come out and do some stargazing with professors and scientists that specialize in telling you how to do that. Are you part of that? Are you part of that?
I've done 2 of them already, right?
Okay, great. Are they pretty good? Okay, that's great. Testimonial here for that. And then one last announcement, and that is our second Saturday concert series, which are growing in popularity by leaps and bounds. We'll have the last one for the pre-summer period on June the 8th at 6:30. And then we will not have another second Saturday concert until October when the program resumes. So we hope you come out and partake of some of the terrific programs that the Altadena Library has. And thank you again, everybody, for your support. Do you have any questions? Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. LA Department of Parks and Rec. Oh, okay, what happened? Oh, Mr. Estrada. Push down.
Never
push
fails.
Down. Push down here.
I got it. It wasn't tight. There we go. All right. All right. Good evening, everybody. There, that's better. We have a lot coming up in the Altadena parks, specifically at Loma Alta Park. We have the summer day camp that is going to start on June 10th. They already started registration at Loma Alta, and it is $100 for enrollment. And the special thing about Loma Alta is that it is a STEM park, but for the Parks and Recreation, we call it Esteem, which stands for Environment, Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Math. And that's a 6-week program that starts on June 24th, and that is part of the park's summer camp. It's going to be a great program. We're actually partnering with LA County Public Works. We also have the Beaches and Harbor and the Natural History Museum. And the staff are going through an extensive 4-day training, which started today, and that's going to spread across 16 other parks all throughout LA County. This is the 3rd year that they are doing this program. We are always looking for volunteers that would like to provide their expertise in whatever scientific field they may have expertise in. It's a great program, and I'm actually on the committee for the entire department with our deputy director, my former deputy director, Mercy Santoro, who's the head chair for the program. And like I said, it's a great program that we're doing, and the kids get a great lesson plan every week. It goes about 20 hours each week for the kids to learn, keeps them stimulated, and it's a great opportunity for anybody that wants to volunteer or be part of this program that's been growing, and we're just trying to enhance it every single year. Charles White Park is also doing their summer camp. It starts on June 6th. Oh, I'm sorry, their parent orientation is on June 6th, and their summer camp starts also on June 10th. Their registration is $40, and they don't have the STEM program, but they have a normal summer camp. They do provide a summer lunch and a summer snack, and they go swimming at Loma Alta Park. There's another program that the department has started, and this is something that I think is going to be great. And again, if anybody wants to provide their expertise or any kind of volunteer or even their business, we are starting a program with our teens. It started actually on Monday, May 13th. It was our soft opening, and it's called Our Spot. And it stands for Social Place and Opportunities for Teens. And it's to empower teens to reach their full potential. We are providing free activities, which is a safe place to make with friends, field trips, youth leadership activities, arts and entertainment programs, mentorship programs, and we are also going to do a large kickoff on the opening night of Parks After Dark on June 13th. It's going to be a red carpet affair. We're going to have celebrities and all kind of entertainment for the teens. And we got a great partnership with probation that's providing funding. And the hours of operation are going to be from Monday, May 13th to June 7th. And it's going to be Monday through Thursday, the after school until 7 p.m., Fridays after school till 8 p.m. Summer programs, like I said, starts June 13th, and it's Tuesday through Saturday from 6 to 10 p.m. And those hours are subject to change, but those are the hours that we have currently at this moment. Like I said, the grand opening will be June 13th. As Victoria mentioned earlier about the pickleball has started at Farnsworth Park. We had a community meeting, and it went fairly well. We did not have a lot of tennis players that showed up. We had a lot of former tennis players that showed up, but we had a lot of members from the pickleball community that came, and it was a very civil and very healthy discussion that we had on that evening. And what we went over is that we went over the construction process. We should be starting, we did initially anticipate mid-May, so we're now looking at probably early June for the construction of the fence, and also new painting that's going to be going around the entire tennis court, and they're also going to refurbish the entire courts. On one court, they will have just pickleball lines on the court, and they will not install the pickleball nets. They'll leave the 2 tennis nets up. It is a pilot program that we've tried, and it has had success. So the community loves it. We know that this is something that the community has asked for, and we have Lynn Raven, who's been a great volunteer with the park, and she's been working with us since last summer. And we appreciate her time that she's given to make this program a success. If you're wondering how long the process will take in terms of the construction, it should take about 2 weeks for the entire process. And that's including new lighting and then the construction of the court itself. The program for pickleball is basically Monday through Friday, and we have it in the mornings, and we also have it in the evenings as well. We are going to adjust the program once the construction does start, and that will be delivered out to the community, so that way there's no confusion. But like I said, we should only be down about two weeks' time. So we thank you. I would actually like to make a mention to, I went to school with Dion, and so I was a class of 2001, and I still remember him to this day. So I'm touched by the presentation by everybody that did that, because I still remember him from high school. So it was a great presentation, and I thank you. Thank you.
All right, 2 questions. Oh, none? Okay. Councilmember Sutherlen?
Just not a well, yes, question. Just briefly, can you be sure to hang on? We won't be too much longer. We have a question that we'd like to ask you that's got nothing to do with what you just said.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Cauliflower.
Oh, go ahead. That's you.
Oh.
Oh, Chamber of Commerce. Okay, Doug's not here. Sorry.
He's not here.
Okay.
Doug Cauliflower's not here, so I'll mention just a couple of things briefly to keep it short for the Chamber of Commerce. But the 2 scholarships was awarded from the Chamber of Commerce to Dr. Thomas's kids. 2 kids from Dr. Thomas's was awarded 2 scholarships from the Chamber of Commerce in the amount of $1,000 per student, and the students were identified. There is 2 more scholarships about to be given out. The students haven't been identified yet from the College Access Plan for Pasadena, and that goes to College Access Plan that also works with PUSD students from Altadena, ones that probably need the scholarship the most. So those are to come. So thank you, and thank you, Dr. Thomas.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Malone. Going on to general public comment, I'll turn it over to Councilmember Sutherlen.
And Aaron is timing in case anybody's curious.
Okay, one moment. In the interest of time, public comments for tonight is going to be limited to 1 minute, and we will be strict on that, please.
Karen Gibson.
I hope you didn't start the timer already.
We did.
The run.
I had to switch hats now, and I'm appearing now on behalf of Neighbors Building a Better Altadena, affectionately known as NBBA. We are hosting a town council candidate forum in association with the League of Women Voters, many of whom are Altadena residents, but it's Pasadena Area League, and with Eric Pierce with AltadenaElection.org, who always puts up fantastic information for us when it's election time. The forum will be next Wednesday. Check in at 6:45 so you don't miss anything. We'll start at 7, go to 8:30. Everybody got a flyer on their chair, or there are some on the piano. But you know what? I don't want to talk about what's on here, because really what we're so lucky to see tonight is our inspired candidates, our creative, energetic candidates talking about wanting to be on the council and what the council can do. And this is your chance when you come to the forum to get some more of that, but to tell them what you think too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike Thatcher.
Spent half my life running, and it's a useful skill on occasion. So, my name is Mike Thatcher, and I am the co-publisher of the Altadena Neighbors magazine. Some of you may have received this already. We have finished our second issue. We're working on our third, and I just wanted to present the first 2 issues to the town council. We are a publication that focuses on the good things that are happening in the community. There's a lot of news media that focuses on the negative, and we can very carefully keep everything positive and upbeat. To that extent, we only feature families on the front cover. That's the only thing you'll see, and it will always be a family from the Altadena community. I love what I do. I've done this in the community I grew up in, just across the way in La Cañada, and so I'm excited to be working with local businesses. It is a 100% sponsored program, meaning the local businesses that sponsor through the advertising enable us to do our work with the families and members of the community. And so I'm grateful to be able to present this to the town council, and thank you for your support, and all the best.
Thank you.
Sandra Fettis.
So much positive energy in the room tonight. I'm sorry to bring this complaint. Okay, it was for 2 minutes, so I'll go fast. I'm going to read it fast. My issue has to do with noisy neighbors, and who have an outdoor pavilion with state-of-the-art sound system, roof-mounted speakers facing out to the neighbors, interior patio speakers, lounging sofas, dining table, and wall-mounted flat-screen TV. The space functions as another room in their house, but without 2 walls. The sound, can you hear me, I guess?
Yes.
Turn it up.
There you go.
Okay. The sound hits all the hard surfaces, amplifying it and directing it straight to our house. In constructing this patio, they have done nothing to minimize the impact of the noise, but have done everything to maximize the impact. The patio pavilion is approximately 10 feet from our kitchen, 20 feet from our family room, and 30 feet from my bedroom. Since the owners moved in, they held several very loud parties. The noise level was unbelievable, sometimes going till 1 and 2 a.m. We endured it since they said they would have a couple of loud parties and then be done. Oh, was that my time?
Yeah.
Was that it?
Just keep
Oh my God.
No.
Unfortunately, that was not accurate. The breaking point came January 3rd, 2015. I called the neighbors to request they turn down the music. They responded by turning the music up louder and increasing the hooting and hollering. I called the sheriff. Since then, I've called the sheriff approximately 11 times. Sometimes the sheriff coming resulted in bad acts, such as suddenly blasting the music for several minutes and turning it down, then up again, then sometimes until 11:45 at night. 2, a broken badminton racket thrown over our fence onto our driveway. Unopened can of soda thrown over the fence, smashing onto the concrete driveway. The wife yelling at me, "Yes, we are loud and we use our patio," and the husband banging on our front door and yelling at my 93-year-old mother. In 2016, the sheriff's community liaison met with the neighbors. Then my attorney wrote a letter in 2018 to them. And I believe recently the new sheriff's community liaison did meet with the neighbors within the last couple months.
I'm sorry, but your time is up, and we'll make sure that your council member is in touch with you.
Okay.
She's working on it.
Yeah, Jennifer's been helping. Sorry.
Okay, got it.
Gina Chamberlain.
Hello, everybody. My name is Gina Chamberlain from Census Tract 4610. So my big ask is support from the LA Board of Supervisors. Very humble ask just because it's for a grant called the Rubberized Asphalt Repavement Grant, which I'm asking because we have more than a dozen private streets. And I know some of you live along there. You have relatives or friends who actually live on a private street, and it's very costly. My street in particular has not been paved in 60 years, and so it's a wonderful grant. I actually found a contractor, Solly Miller Contractors, who actually works with LA County on numerous projects, so they're very familiar with the process. The benefits of this rubberized asphalt, which is using recycled tires mixed in, is it reduces the urban heat island effect. It reduces noise with the traffic coming through. And I think more so for the benefit of the county, it increases property values. So whether you like that or not, more taxes. But I think that this would be greatly beneficial. A lot of residents would be eternally grateful for this support. I've gone to a number of nonprofits and they can't take on the amount that it is, $170,000 to $1 million. So please consider that.
And you've given us your contact information, so you'll be
please
contacted.
pass the word on. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Christina, I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce your last name. That looks like it's what it is. Oh, yes, okay, I see it now.
Good evening. I just wanted to reiterate what my neighbor, Gina, just said. I'm lucky to have an amazing neighbor that's really taken on this project, but I have two little girls and the uneven street and the potholes have been really dangerous for them. They've fallen a couple times already and it seems to only get worse with the rain and the weather, and any support we can get to help push that grant through is appreciated.
It's my census. 4610.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, we've been working on it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
David Mather, or Mather? Okay.
What I get for cleaning the leaves in my gutters. There's a very well-known video that shows a whole bunch of people playing basketball on a basketball court, passing the ball backwards and forwards. And it's usually used in corporate training classes, and you're told, count how many times the ball gets passed. In the meantime, somebody dressed as a gorilla walks right through. People don't see it. I know, I was one of the people who didn't see it in my training class. I can't help but wonder if the same thing happened when we the CSD was redone a few years ago. There's 800-pound gorilla that kind of went right through the CSD in form of lack of regulation on short-term vacation rental properties, Airbnbs, VRBOs, that type of thing. Councilwoman Lee knows very well about the issues on our street, on Boston, and what I'm here tonight is to mention that in March, Supervisor Barger and Supervisor Cool had, I'll be really quick, ordinance passed to have new legislation proposed by the end of the year to regulate these properties. I don't have any issue whatsoever with people, having one or two people living in houses they're living in. But when we've got houses, properties in Altadena where the owner, nobody is resident, and you're getting significant numbers of people at these properties with the associated problems. Traffic congestion, unauthorized film shoots, arguments in the street in the middle of the night, people drinking on our car hoods and that sort of thing in our driveways. So if Town Council could work with the county in coming up with a fair and a reasonable legislation that is going to be fair to everybody, but what I would like to see is a complete ban on properties where the owner or the owner's representative is not living at that residence. In other words, a de facto hotel. Thank you for your time, everybody.
Thank you. Vicki Thompson?
Hello, thank you for listening to me, and I just am a person that lives in Altadena but loves to walk at Hahamunga and at the Arroyo, and I'm just really concerned with the project that is ongoing now behind Devil's Gate Dam, and would just ask the council to continue to work with the county to make sure that proper restoration takes place, that they really are paying attention to the traffic flow on Windsor and the streets that are surrounding Hahamunga, and also the air quality, that they continue to take care of that. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all public comment.
Okay, thank you so much, Councilmember Sutherlen. And let's go into the special presentation. And for tonight, we have update on fences and hedges registration. And I'd like to call Department of Regional Planning. That will be Mr. Alex Garcia.
Hello? Okay. Hi, I'm Yvette Huynh with the Department of Regional Planning. This is Alex Garcia right behind me. Just a quick reminder, we had a fence registration that just expired on April 1st. Just a quick reminder on why we have it. The regulations for fences, walls, and hedges were updated, and as part of that update, you had an opportunity to register your fence if it happens to be over height and it didn't comply with those new regulations. And so we had over a 1-year outreach period, and we received about 400 applications. And so now we have had some direction from our management to extend that deadline to July 1st. So if you or you know somebody who missed that deadline, you have another month and a half to do so. And I have brought some applications and some flyers if you wanted more details about it. Alex and I will be taking questions, and we'll stay here until the end of the meeting. So if you wanted to submit anything or whatever, we'll be here. Okay, if you have any questions, Alex, any questions? Any questions?
Any questions from council?
Well, so I believe there will not be a large mailing about this, is the plan, right?
Good evening. My name is Alex Garcia with Regional Planning. No, there will not be any mailings for this. We did post it on our social media. If you see it, please, link it to your social media so that people know about it. We will not have any more workshops. We will just continue to be here of service and support and cheer you on.
Yeah, if you're posting on social media, I'm wondering if, with maybe from another community, and not ours, but to take a few pictures to say, hey guys, look, this is non-conforming. I think people don't realize that their stuff is non-conforming. So if you're going to be posting things, I know it's not a mailing, but maybe you could just. Don't take the pictures in Altadena though, because then, okay.
Yeah.
Right, because then the people will get upset that,
Right.
yeah. Anyway, just a thought.
Great.
Just a thought.
Thanks. Yes.
I have a neighbor, and I've asked them if they've registered, and they said they came to one of the events and described their yard. The fence is high, but it runs along the side of their house, which happens to be on a street I know well. Next to that fence is a driveway. It's sort of an odd, so you're going down their side fence and there's a driveway. But the driveway doesn't have the fence angling the site issue.
Right.
And I was just wondering about that because they were told, but it seems like there's a problem. What do you think?
I think that they should come in and talk to us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So if I take a photo next time I'm around and send it to you, you'll help me with that. I mean,
Sure.
they've given up on this, but I keep looking at it and saying, I got to find out.
Yeah, you can take a picture and send it to us, send us the address and we can look into it.
Councilmember Knapp?
I just wanted to confirm what I think is my understanding, but there are some properties that are being developed, residential properties that are being developed currently by entities and intend to flip them. And I can tell that they are planting hedges that are not grown in yet, but they are on the street. So I've been told that until they grow in and become a hedge, nothing can be done. Is that true?
That's correct, yeah.
That's true.
And we still work the same way that we've always been working with these types of issues is complaint-based. So at the time that it grows over the allowed height, then someone can complain about it and then we can go and address it.
Okay.
But I have what you mean, Victoria, that I have the same sort of a problem until it grows, like they're tall enough now, but they're not.
To fill in.
They're not. Yeah, they're not
Right.
filled in enough, right?
Right.
So, right. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
so
has
the
to.
issue-
It has to look like a wall.
Right. It has to serve a barrier. So
Right.
if it's tall, but you can see through it, then it's not really a barrier.
Okay.
Could you just reiterate on the height?
On the height?
Requirements, yeah.
Yeah, the height requirements vary depending on the location of the fence.
Right.
So it just depends. I mean, we have flyers in the back, and we can, like I said, we share them on social media as well. It just varies, but it goes from 0 to 3.5 feet to 6 feet, and then depending on where in the property they're at. But we can share that flyer on social media with you guys if you'd like.
Will you speak
Okay.
to Reggie's question about it goes down the side of the house. It has to start 10 feet.
It goes down the side of the house from the front, but yeah, right, 10 feet into your property.
What I suggest that we do in the interest of time, since you offered to still be here, is that we take those questions at that time. Does that work, or?
Yes.
Sure,
Okay.
we'll be out in the lobby if you have any questions. If
Thank you
anybody
so
has any
much for your
questions.
patience. We really
Sure.
appreciated you coming and staying. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Thanks.
All right, 4611.
Thank you. This is not news limited to 4611, folks. But this is the 4611 prerogative that I'm using right now. So, street trees. The county, if you're interested and your property meets, certain distance requirements, if there's enough space, you can get a free street tree planted in front of your house by the County Department of Public Works. And I put a bunch of colorful flyers on the back, on the piano back there. Public Works website has this form as well. Why would you want to plant a tree in front of your house? Real quick. They improve air and water quality. Eventually, they provide shade. They help address urban heat island effect. That's lowering temperatures. If you're lucky enough to own your own home, they increase property value. They encourage walking, and on your street, they can help calm traffic too. So trees do a lot for us, and if you'd like one in front of your house, the county will put it there for free. All you have to do is agree to water it. So I just wanted to share that, folks, and that's dpw.lacounty.gov.
All right, thank you so much. And I know the time is well spent, and I thank everyone for your patience going through this. I think we did very well tonight, considering the level of items on the agenda. So I would like to entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Okay, the meeting is adjourned, and the time is 9:12.